What's up, guys? Today I got something special. Today I'm going to show you how to win every single game on Psylocke by telling you everything I know about this character. And I mean everything from hero matchups to for every single hero, how to play her playstyle to perfection, and how to deal with the Psylocke mirror. I got everything in this video. It has so much information. It'll be perfect for all you Psylocke mains. But without further ado, let's get straight to it.
All right, of course, to start off a Psylocke guide, you want to start with her abilities. Her mouse button 1 ability, or her primary fire, is sort of like it's shotgun spread, more close range. It's a 2-shot. Like it shoots twice for every time you click once. And her mouse button 2, or her right click ability, for me it's left click because I'll get to that in my settings, in the settings part of the video. But it's basically a shuriken that you throw out, and then it sticks to whatever it hits, and then after about 3 seconds, it comes back to you, unless you press the button again, and then it'll come back to you on command, right? And every time you stick out onto a player, you get 50 over health, right? And basically anytime you hit a player with the ability, you get 50 over health, right? And you're able to miss and then able to bring it back. And the main way that, like, if I ever miss using it, I always make sure that I look at the person, because it comes to your, as you saw there, it comes to your crosshair first, and then it comes straight to you. So you want to look at the person first, and then you should be able to hit it and then get the 50 over health. And honestly, the 50 over health isn't really that big of a deal. It's not like a crazy survivability tech or anything. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit nice, a little bit more survivability. You know what I mean? Our next ability is her dash ability, which you go about starting here, go about this far, and you do damage with it. You really want to use it as a mobility tool to, like, just any mobility tool. You don't really want to use it mainly for damage unless you're using it in a combo, which I'll show in a second. But yeah, and then also another thing is, if you have your shurikens out and then you dash, is you bring back your shurikens, just like how you would bring back your shurikens if you press the shuriken button again. The same thing happens whenever you dash.
Step aside.
So, which will be the main part of one of the combos, which I'll get into in just a second. And her final ability before the ult is basically, it's literally just an invisibility, and it lasts for 3 seconds. You get a little bit of movement speed buff
The enemy has
when you're
arrived.
in it. And one big thing that I see a lot of people not understanding, whenever you get hit in your invisibility, you get revealed for like just a second, so they're able to track where you are if you get hit. So you're not just fully invisible no matter what. If you get hit, you're low-key screwed, I can't lie. And her final ability is her ultimate, and let me get over here. It's basically like a Genji ult, but it's basically a Genji ult from Overwatch, except it's aimbot. Basically, it does it by itself, right? And basically you just press Q, and it goes. That happens. You go in between the 2 people, or how many people you have in this purple circle. Go to however many people are there, and the way it targets is the person that has the highest health. That's who it targets first. So you can see here it's going to go to whichever one it goes for, since they have the same health, and then it goes for the next person, the person that wasn't hit because they have the higher health, and then it goes back to the other person, and you'll see that just happen just now, because it's going through whoever has the most HP, pretty much. Obviously this is different because they're both the exact same HP, but in a game you'll see it happen in a game more realistically, I guess. You know what I mean? Alright, Psylocke's team up ability is pretty simple. It's pretty, you know what I'm saying, pretty easy to understand, pretty easy to use. It's basically just another ability, as you can see here, my C ability. And what it basically says is, when magic's on the field, so you need to have a magic to have this team up, Psylocke can tap into limbo to rewind a few seconds back to the previous position. After passing through limbo, she'll gain bonus health based on how much health she's missing. And basically, if you played Overwatch, essentially it's just a tracer rewind, except a little bit worse, right? So I have low health right now, I'm at 100 health right now, and I'm gonna use my ability, and we're gonna see how much health I gain back. I gain back 75 bonus health, but I do lose that health, so it's just overshield basically. And basically the only times you really want to use this is when you're like on point and you're trying to stall as long as possible, since as you can see here, it's a pretty long time to like wind up kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's really niche when it would be like really good, but you really want to use it to stall only in OT for your team. But any other time, personally, I don't really see as much of a use for it, except for like extremely niche situations, if you know what I mean. All right, now for combos. There's only really 2 main combos that you want to use, and they all have to do with your dash. Really just every single ability that you have, all in quick succession. And for your bread and butter, which is the one that you want to do at all times. Like whenever you have a chance to use a combo, use it. This is your bread and butter. You always want to do this. This is your max damage, burst damage output. So this is what you're going to want to do. It's your primary fire, secondary, primary fire. All in quick succession. I'm going to do that one more time slow. Primary, secondary, primary. I do that quick. That's going to be your bread and butter. That's going to be your bread and butter, right? And then there's one other combo that's a bit more niche, which is when you're really in the back line. You're really only looking at squishies and no one else is really looking at you. Which is basically, it's going to have to do with you having your shurikens out and then you right-clicking to get them back. And basically what you're going to want to do is your primary fire, your right-click, and then primary fire, and then you're going to dash. Primary, secondary, primary, and then dash. I'm pretty sure that does 275 health, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, those are basically just going to be your 2 combos that you use. Alright, next I want to go into your settings. And, okay, as a preface for the settings, it's really dependent on how you want to play. It's really up to personal preference is what I'm trying to say here. But display doesn't really matter because you can find all this on a random video. Audio doesn't matter, of course. Sensitivity and stuff like that. Let me switch to a specific hero. I have 1.6 for my vertical and horizontal. And but for sensitivity, you don't want a crazy high sense or a crazy low sense. You kind of just want a sense where you'll be able to hit a good 180 and still be in a good, comfortable position. You're going to be hitting a lot of 180s off your dashes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So as long as you're able to do that, you should be chilling. But it's not overly like where you're just like moving a little bit and you're like all the way like, wah, you know what I mean? Just nothing crazy. And all this, obviously you don't want to have any of this stuff on. And for my reticle, this is my, okay, you guys don't see that. That's awkward. But for my crosshair, this is what my crosshair basically looks like. And this is what you need to have. Just copy and paste it. Pause the video if you need to. Yeah, that's that. And my HUD is on large. Health bar is default. Doesn't really matter. And for my... Okay, so what I was saying a little bit earlier with my right click and left click during the ability breakdown, when I started playing the game, I started playing Psylocke right away. Like, she was the first character I played, and for some reason my primary attack and my secondary attack were switched to where my, like, not my primary attack, like my ability was my right click and my primary was my left click, and I was just like, Loki doesn't matter that much. So I just got used to it, but normally these two would be swapped. Realistically, it really doesn't matter. Up to preference, of course. And my melees is F, but most of this is all this is just default except for me adding this one of my mouse buttons for my melee. And yeah, that's it for that. None of these matter. I have nothing for controller settings. I don't play controller. None of this matters. And accessibility, this is my accessibility. My ally color is green, enemy color red, HP, and so none of this matters. But I feel like these two would matter. You want to get an enemy color that kind of doesn't to where your crosshair doesn't blend in. You know what I mean? Which I have right now as red and blue. And yeah, that's basically my settings. Best settings in the game, to be honest, can't lie.
Okay, so now we're going to get into Psylocke's different playstyles, because she has a couple. Her main playstyle is going to be a more assassin-like style. This consists of her scoping out the backline squishies without being noticed, and once the time is right, going in, getting one kill, and leaving right away. And basically just repeating that over and over and over again until you inevitably win. Right. Her second type of playstyle is going to consist of frontlining and pumping as much damage as possible into the tanks. This is mainly used when waiting for cooldowns to recharge, needing to farm for a game-winning ult, or when you're at a place in the map where if you flank, you're just going to be put in a bad position too far away from the healers, and you wouldn't really be able to retreat if you were caught in a bad position. Now we'll talk about how Psylocke plays on the different game modes. On payload maps, she specializes in her flank capability and burst damage output onto squishies in the backline, so try and always be looking to flank and assassinate the supports. On point maps though, Psylocke feels a lot harder to use for this playstyle because it's a set point, so the enemy team is really going to be all bunched together, so it's kind of hard to find that squishy in the backline, you know what I mean? But to counteract this though, you just need to take more time on your flanks tanks and deciding who you're going to dive and making sure that the person that you're going for is the most isolated out of the entire enemy team. And you should be good. All right. Now we're going to go into specific hero matchups and how to beat every hero. This segment has a lot of information being thrown at you at once, so make sure you're listening in. And if you need to go back through the video every once in a while, you can do that. It's your video player. You got that. Firstly, we'll start off with tanks. In tanks, there's not really a specific thing you want to do for every specific hero. You really just want to play range and play with your team and pump as much damage as you can into them. And yeah, they should pretty much just fall over at that point. Next, we have the duelist. When fighting a Black Panther, you need to try and dodge away from his javelins and dashes so he has no cooldowns, and if you do that, he's pretty much just a target bot at that point. Fighting a Widow is actually so easy. You just need to make sure to watch out for her little Widow bite stun thing, and you shouldn't die to her, like, ever. Hawkeye isn't really too much of a threat to you, but to your team, he's very annoying, especially your tanks. So just try and take up his attention, even if you don't kill him, and your team should really be on that if he's looking away. Fighting Hela isn't too hard. Just remember that she's able to stun you out of your ult, which is stupid, but it's just something you gotta know. Iron Fist, even after his bust, is still sort of reliant on hitting his block at a good time and getting as much overhealth as possible. So just make sure that you're able to predict when he will block and just not hit him during it, and you should be able to take him down. Iron Man and every other flyer is easy to kill because flyers don't really get healing as much because the healers don't look up. They're really mainly looking at the tanks. So you should be able to kill most of them out of the air pretty easy. Magic can be hard to kill because her portals make her invincible. But one thing is you don't want to dash into her while she's dashing into you, or you'll basically be cooked and fried like a little fishy. Mr. Fantastic is very annoying because he's basically a tank, especially when he's in his tank form. But other than that, he's pretty easy to kill, pretty big hitbox, you know what I mean, as long as you play around your team. Moon Knight is so easy to kill because his hitbox is so big. Just don't get destroyed by his Ankh, a little burst combo, which you won't really happen as long as you're not standing still. Namor is your main DPS counter since his turrets do so much damage and they're able to see you pretty much from 360 point of view of them. So it's pretty hard to flank when you're playing against a Namor. But you are able to one-shot him with your one-shot combo as long as he doesn't use his bubble midway through. So just, keep trying, and you got it. Scarlet Witch is so dumb because she's basically Moira from Overwatch. No skill, you know what I mean? But you are able to one-shot combo her as long as she doesn't dash away. So kind of like Namor, you just got to keep going, For Spider-Man, you really just need to have good aim, and you should be able to shut him down pretty easy. Squirrel Girl is easy to kill, but she can jump really high with one of her abilities, so just be on the lookout for that and manage her cooldowns in there. Star-Lord is hard to kill if you don't hit your shots consistently because his role gives him immunity to all damage, so he's able to get healing pretty easy when he's in his role, so it's kind of annoying, but if he doesn't have any dashes, he's pretty easy to kill. Just hit your shots. Storm is a flyer, just like Iron Man, so she doesn't get as much healing. You can shut her down pretty easy, as long as you don't get one-hit comboed by her E. I'm pretty sure it's her E and her shift ability. I might be wrong, but she has some burst damage that, basically one-taps you, but just be on the lookout for that. Punisher is very easy to kill because his hitbox is big, but with his shotgun, he's basically able to one-tap you. Extremely stupid, but just be on the lookout for that. Make sure you're, dodging and weaving his bullets like the Matrix, and you should be good. Winter Soldier is hard to kill because he gets so much shield from his abilities, especially his shift, but you just need to play with your team, and using your whole team, you can shut him down really easily. Wolverine is so easy to kill. It just takes a while because his passive ability gives him basically immortality, but you should be good. Now we move on to healers, which can all be one-hit comboed and killed if the combo was hit correctly. Adam Warlock is very annoying when you're dealing with his soul bond, but other than that, he's pretty much a target bot, but he is able to one-shot you with his charge ability. I think it's his right click, his charge triple shot thing, so just be on the lookout for that. Cloak and Dagger is semi easy to kill. You just need to hit your combo right and manage her abilities, like her dash away and her bubble, and she's pretty easy to kill. Invisible Woman is easy to kill, but she is able to jump in time to mess up your combo, and when she jumps, she's invisible, so she's basically able to run away like that. But if you're able to catch her off guard, you should be able to kill her pretty easy. Jeff is one of the most annoying characters to kill, I swear, because he just goes underground and gives himself a bubble. It's so dumb, but as long as you're making him not heal his team, you're basically doing your job, so you should be good on that front. Loki is easy to kill. You just need to be aware of where his clones are and where he could pop up next with his clones, and make sure you manage his immortality lamp, and other than that, he's pretty easy to kill. Luna is a character that's able to stun you with her freeze, so you need to manage those cooldowns more than anything, because if you get frozen, you're able to get one-tapped by one-tap characters like Widow, Hawkeye, Hela, things like that, or you're able to get burst damage like a Magic or something like that, and you won't be able to get away. Mantis is the same way with her sleep, so you just got to manage those cooldowns and you should be good. Other than that, they're pretty easy to kill. Rocket is the most annoying character in the game. I will stand by that till the day I die, because he's just able to run away, and his hitbox is so small. He basically doesn't even have a headshot. It's so annoying, but if you just make him not heal his team, you should be, you're literally doing your job, so you should be good. The Human Torch is super easy to kill because he is a flyer again, so he gets less healing. Just don't get too close to him because his primary fire damage is pretty hefty and does a lot of damage to the head. The last thing we're going to go over for this video is the Psylocke mirror, or when the other team is playing a Psylocke against you. And I'm basically going to tell you how to 1v1 her and how to win every single 1v1. And basically what you want to do is you want to make her use her cooldowns before you. You should never be the first to use your invisibility when you're 1v1ing a Psylocke, because they can just go invisible and wait for you to pop up, and then while they're still invisible, line up their shot and then hit you with their burst combo, killing you. Never invisibility first. Please, I am begging you. You will lose the fight. You will lose the 1v1, and you will be throwing your team every time if you keep dying to the Psylocke like that. Other than that, you really just need to hit your shots and try and make sure that they aren't hitting their shots and making them use their abilities before you use yours. And I mean, you should be good. Just make her use her invisibility first, and then you win. I mean, you win. You just win. You just win. All right, guys, it's time for the outro for this splendid video. If you made it this far, I thank you a million times for listening to me yap for however long this video is. Probably 3,000 hours long. I hope this helped you in some way, shape, or form. Let me know in the comments if you want more Psylocke content, because I will absolutely oblige. I will absolutely do that for you guys. But other than that, thank you, and I'm gonna see you next time.